Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Cryptid Cartoons with Dirty Fylth. I am going to be drawing a couple. Oops, I think I'm going to make sure I got this off mute here. There we go. I'm going to be painting, rather, a couple of art cards and talking about a little bit about each of one of them. Ooh, excuse me. Love that ginger ale. Anyways, I'm also going to have my associate, Fox Vegas, here with me today. She's going to kind of watch the chat, so I actually make sure I pay attention to people. Because the invention of a third eyeball just to watch the chat room is, it's a little shortcoming so far. And unfortunately, my headset died, so I'll just have to listen to the dogs barking and the people outside yelling and screaming, and probably the cats fighting each other later. All right, there we go. Alrighty, here we go. Scoot that microphone over. Remember, you can also watch Dave Scott, Monday to Friday, Spaced Out Radio. On Wednesdays, we have handsome Grantavius Flavius Maximus with his UFO Max report. Also, on Fridays, did I say Wednesday? Grant's on Wednesday. If I didn't say Wednesdays, on Wednesday. Anyway, Friday, Lee with Element 115, because I can't remember if he said 115 or 1115. I'll have to ask him again. Sometimes my goldfish memory doesn't work out too well. And on the weekends, Rob G. Mr. Rob G. And not MR, Mr. Like MISTER, Mr. Oh, that's a mouthful. Hello, Mel WD40. I don't think I need any lubing because I'm dirty enough. I'm just full of slime. And Kitty Caddywhack. And Michelle Wilfong. Anybody else that's listening in X or Spreaker or all those crazy weird places. All right, so I got 8 of these little art cards. What I do is of course, it's all the sun's coming around here. It's getting all bright. Let me adjust something here real quick. Put my Roman flag down here, so that kind of helped a little bit. Yes, it did. Of course, it's going to be windy and ruin it anyways. All right. Also, if you go to Brian Bowden's Third Eye Live on YouTube, I was his guest last Wednesday, and you can see my beautiful face on there instead of just my nice hands that I promised Bob Birkins that I would mail to him when I'm dead if I die before him. So anyways, other than that, we got all that stuff cleared out. There may be a gremlin or gargoyle sighting. There's probably going to be some plushy sightings. But let's see here. Let's start with a Bigfoot in the woods. Excuse me. So basically what I do with these, headset is in the way, my dead headset, rest in peace headset. Sorry, I got a new one coming tomorrow. This one's going to be better. All right. What I do with these art cards is I draw them up, and then at the art walk or when I'm on the bus or wandering around places or wherever, I just kind of leave them around for people. It's like a cheap way of advertisement. Excuse me. So the art walk is July 11th to 13th in Edmonton, Alberta. There's going to be over 400 artists there. And it's all original stuff. It's always great. If you ever want to make a trip to Edmonton, do it during the summertime and then come visit me at the art walk. And then maybe you can come over and pet the cats. So anyways, I usually just make these for the art walk. Well, for the art walk, specifically the ones that I do, I just leave them on my table and then people come by and have a look and everything. And see what's going on. And then I just tell them to take one of these for the road. Put all my information on the back and junk, and then, they have a little piece of art, original artwork. You get the original piece from the original artist, and it's the very best. All right, so this is a Bigfoot in the forest, the woods, if you will. And good luck trying to find him. It's a world championship. Hello, Cryptid Huntress. Jess, I really liked your shows about the possible aliens or the reptilians that are in the woods there. It was pretty good. I was scrolling through TikTok the other day. I think it's probably a really old one. I didn't really know. I'm not cool enough to use TikTok properly all the way, so I appreciate you coming by. Hello, Tyler420. He's probably having a cigarette as we speak. Smoking makes you 13% cooler, by the way. That's what the statistics have told me. So in this Bigfoot in the woods picture, there's also Jessica Jones somewhere in the woods. But like the Bigfoot, she's all stealthed up and you can't find her. Hello, Roger Blair. Alrighty. Sometimes I like to do this it's almost kind of a joke. Just draw some trees and then make people try to find the Bigfoot. He's in there, I can guarantee you. And there might be more than one. So I originally started doing all these art cards. Oh, I don't know, probably around 2013-ish. Because a friend of mine, he was in a band. They were called 100 Years at the time. They're now called the Dabs. I was also in one of their music videos. I was the crazy bald guy in a wheelchair. Yes, reptilians glitching out. That's the one. I thought that was absolutely awesome. Oh, man. Hold on one second. I got to blow my nose. Yes. The joys of working in a warehouse. Nose is running all day from all the dust and warehouse ghost bugging you. But anyways, I was the crazy bald guy in the wheelchair in his music video. I also did the logo for his band. And I did the logo for his studios, which is... Hello, Mr. Gargoyle. It's not Hello, Mr. Gargoyle. The studios is called The Voodoo Architect, also based in Edmonton. And funny story about the head guy in the band. I don't even know his real name. I just call him the Space Captain. But him and I trade plants because he grows a whole bunch of plants and I always got plants and I've always got little clippings and seedlings and all this stuff. And Mrs. says I'm not supposed to have any more plants, so I just grow them and then I give them away to my friends. But anyways, the Gargoyle, my little gray guy, every time Space Captain comes over, he's like right there, right at his feet, piles onto him. And apparently he looks like a cat that Space Captain had that passed away a couple of years ago. So we just figure maybe he's just a reincarnated cat. There is no Blair Witch in this, unfortunately. Sorry. And yeah, it's kind of cool. Mr. Gargoyle only does that to two people. Fox Vegas and Space Captain. You know, now that I think about it, almost everybody I know has some sort of nickname. I probably don't even know anybody's real name. If you ever hung out with me for a certain period of time, you'd probably end up getting into... What are you doing, you little wiener? The cats are out of control already. We're like 5 minutes in here, 8 minutes in, and the cats are just absolutely out of control. Excuse me. All right. So, yeah, anyways, everybody's always got a nickname. Like, if I got hit by a car and somebody was trying to phone somebody in my phone, they wouldn't find like mom or dad or like wife or something like that. They would definitely 1,000,000% chance have all these. They'd be like, who's Stark Brute Fist? Who's Ogden the God Hunter? And yeah, so I don't know. It's just out of control. Everything's out of control. Hello, Undead Jed. Now, if we threw a phoenix down at Undead Jed, would that make him disappear? I wonder. That's a Final Fantasy reference, nerds. Alrighty. So this is the Bigfoot in the woods. Hey, pal. Hey. A whole bunch of plushies have arrived. Plus the Stitch Witch that makes them. Oh my god. That's so cool. Look, it's a Babyfoot. You can't really see him very well. I'll get some good pictures of it, though. Oh, man, the Mothman.
The Mothman.
Oh, I'm all giddy. Look at, and we have a Mothman sighting. Look at that guy. These are all going to be at the Art Walk in Edmonton, and if there's any of them left, they'll be for sale. There's also other ones that could possibly be for sale. Here's your pile of stuff. Anyways, where was I? Rambling about the Bigfoot in the woods. He's in there. Jessica Jones is in there. and probably Dave and Tim are in there. Dave and Tim are probably up in the mountain somewhere right now. Who knows? Did you want tea or anything? Okay. All right, that one's done. I think I'll do the Babyfoot next because he's close by hand and it'll match him. I'm going to have to actually do a cartoon for Babyfoot as well. I don't know the internet password and junk.
Okay.
Hold on, I have to find the internet password here. I have it saved on in my favorites just for this occasion, I believe, if I remember correctly. Because Ray would always come over and always forget it, so I had to keep digging it out for him. Oh yeah, look at that right there.
Perfect.
Excellent. I'm usually always prepared, and also I didn't have any problems this show so far. Jessica just got back from the Alabama woods. Ooh, I can imagine what kind of stuff is out there. I want to go to West Virginia to go to the West Virginia Bigfoot Museum. That would be pretty cool. I don't think we have anything like that in Canada. I know we have a place in... Oh, I think it's Sicamous. No, actually, it's on the island, if I remember correctly. Anyways. Oh, yeah, thanks. Anyways, it's called Goats on the Roof. And it's a place that has goats that live on the roof of this building. And you can go there and see the goats. My mom always likes to go there. If I was super rich, I'd take her there every summer. Because she deserves it. And I love my mom. Because moms are the best, right?
Yes.
Yes. It's interesting having somebody else in here besides cats to yell at. Because usually they're... Like the last show, at the very beginning, they decided to have World War III right underneath my feet. And then my feet were all bloody and shredded. And I couldn't get up to get anything because part of the deal of me doing this show is Dave said I have to be shackled to the chair. And the chair has to be bolted into the floor so I don't get up and start reading books or anything like that. 5 Rogers in my family. Each one... You know what, Roger? I worked at his appliance place for a while. And we had all these new summer student guys come in. And I couldn't remember the first guy's name, so I just called him Frank. And then a couple of days later, his friend got a job there. And I was like, okay, well, you're Frank Jr. And then we had a new employee. I was like, well, you're Frank the Third. And then we had some other guy come in and they're like, hey, Klaus, are you going to call him Frank the Fourth? I was like, no. So we just called him by his name. And that was it. You can't have any more than 3. Kind of means it. And the third, actually, speaking of that, I am the third Klaus in my family. My grandpa and my uncle were named the same. And it's kind of neat because in this old Super Nintendo game called Earthbound, you go into this dungeon and the Earthbound's a really weird, quirky game. It was one of the last games made for Super Nintendo back in the yonder days. And anyways, you go fight these evil moles, and each of them claim to be the third mole. And they're like, the third is always the strongest. So I just kind of ended up running with that. Here's the Babyfoot. I have to use him for reference color. Thank you. Oh my God, he's so handsome. Oops, sorry, I'm getting water all over.
I'll try.
That's just the coolest thing in the world. I just love his face. Let's get a good look at his face. Look at that. Ah, of course, the sun.
You got a good crotch shot.
Look at my Sasquatch crotch. Yeah, my friend has a dog that comes into work and he lays on his back and he just likes to show himself off. And every time I see it, I just chuckle. It's like, Winston, what are you doing? Oh, I invited Curtis for wings, by the way.
Okay.
He's not sure if he's going to be able to make it because apparently Abby left and took the internet passwords and stuff because there was something wrong with the internet. And I don't know. I feel sorry for Curtis. He can't even watch the show right now, probably. I wonder, it'd be nice if Johnson would show up, my cousin. Like in Greece, almost everyone is Nick, Nicholas, Nicole. Yes, Nicole is a great name. And that's the correct way to spell Nicholas, by the way. CH. None of that weird spelling. Actually, when I went a trip to Costa Rica, and on the last day, I had to leave. And of course, I I brushed up on my Spanish the best I could, but it wasn't very good. Anyway, I was talking to the guard. We had to be at the airport at 11. It was like 6 in the morning, and it was a stupid long drive to get there. So I'm trying to explain to him, and he's looking at my thing, and he sees my name, and just the way he said it, he's like Nikolaus, and he just had this big smile, and it was kind of scary because he had this great big like 8-shooter Clint Eastwood on his side belt there, and so then he got smart and he just went to Google Translate, and then we just sat there and had like a little conversation. It was kind of neato. I wouldn't have thought of that, but he probably has to deal with people coming there and trying to like speak English really slow. It was actually funny. My dad, we went to this burger place, and there's a big cheeseburger on the side of the building, and he goes to the lady. He goes, "Hey, do you speak English?" She's like, No English." And then so he points at the cheeseburger and he says really slow, "I'd like a cheeseburger." I'm like, "Brian, you can say it as slow as you want. She doesn't understand what you're saying." He's like, "Well, I just figured if I'd say it slow, it'd work." And yeah, it didn't. So I tried my best to do my best Spanish, and I think they appreciated it because, you know, that's their country. You got to go there, and when in Rome, right? If I was in Rome, I'd probably go to a goat farm and just help some old guy do goat farm stuff. Look at that. It's the Babyfoot. They match. They're matching. Look at his goofy face. That's just the greatest. Okay, you can have him back now. Hello, Mr. Gremlin. And we have Summertime Carl with his European shorts. Look at him. Look at his, you know what? I got to get a bigger camera. There you go that way. Look at that. He studied. Hello, Mr. Rob G. I hope you're having a good day. Look, Rob. It's Carl with his Speedo on. Because when he decided to research human swimming clothing, he decided to research European style. So there he is. Next time we'll do one with a bigger bulge. All right.
Good.
Yeah. Oh boy. It's out of control. Absolutely out of control. Oh, well, you know, if you spell it with a K or a C, it totally makes a difference. All right. Let's do the 19,000 miles from home and forget to turn off the tea kettle. There's a little story behind that. I was going to write the 1950 special, but cats were bugging me, and, well, that's what they do. So I had to make an adjustment. Plus, this actually works better because now I can make a story about it. You know, one of the only things about these art cards is they're an actual like Bristol board type thing, and they don't do that sexy watercolor thing that I like. So you have to be really quick, and you got to keep slopping it on there, which I'm good at doing that because I'm just a pig with my watercolor. That's why the paper I use is a really heavy paper, because, you know, you go watch videos of other people doing watercolor and they're super delicate and they have 1,000 layers, kind of like painting miniatures or anything. And here's me, just come along, slop it all on there as much as possible, try to get it all as I can in one go. But that's the way I do it, and I enjoy doing it that way. And maybe I'll try it the usual way someday. Probably not, but I might. Who knows? But this is the 1950s style UFO. It's got that little like landing gears and everything, because I think it was Grant Cameron. I think I said this last time. All the UFOs seem to just... Oh, the cat flopped over. Who would have thought? Mr. Flop. They always said that the UFOs back in the day always looked kind of the same, and they just sort of evolved, which kind of gives credit to the... I'm not sure who mentioned it, but they said that the UFOs are specifically built for whatever mission. Actually, Handsome Grant with his power stash was talking about that. That's my American husband, by the way. He was talking about that on a show. I think it was the first show where they were talking that they build wherever they come from. I think it's underwater or something. They build them specifically to Beano from Oz, 1975. Thank you. I appreciate that. As long as everybody's having a good time watching this. Anyways, they build the stuff. It's specifically made for whatever mission it does. Goes on the mission, does that UFO thing, and then it goes back to where it came from and is repurposed or something. I'm not a super UFO researcher. I'm kind of like the bard of UFO stuff. I just know a little bit about a lot of stuff. So that's the story. And then afterwards, the most important part about all this, afterwards, I'm going for some super mega hot wings, like dummy hot wings where I'll be sweating and my nose will be runny and my forehead will be all, I'll have to probably take my hat off and let it vent out. And everyone will be like, geez, Klaus, what are you doing to yourself? Right, mister? Yes. And then after that, it's dice rolling. If you want to stick around and watch us roll dice, you can. It's up to you. And if anybody else lived in Edmonton, there's always an extra space at my table because Watson's a wuss and he wussed out from now on and he doesn't want to play anymore. So, what a weenie. You can come over and play dice with us. And pet the cats. Which is why they should do the spaced out radio thing in Edmonton the next time they do one. Then I don't have to go anywhere. I can sleep in my own bed. And then everyone can come over and pet the cats. Because who doesn't like cats? Well, a lot of people don't like cats, but that's okay. They're wrong. I don't even know what kind of creep would. Well, I guess I made them aliens of some sort. So there's definitely some gray aliens driving this. Maybe it's Fabrice back in the day. I'm not sure. He's right there, by the way. Hidden so he doesn't get sun bleached. What color should I make this planet?
Purple?
Purple it is. I'm a sucker for purple. It's like one of my favorite colors. Black, green, and purple. Actually, I got this fancy purple over here. In my watercolor pen brush things. I tried to find more of these, and I can't find them anymore, so I'm really sad. Walt David Nuremberg. We haven't had any storms for a while. I appreciate you stopping by, though. If you have to come on. Well, he's not. If you got to take shelter under a large tree and hold a big piece of sheet metal on you to cover yourself from the storm, then I understand. I was around when they had the big storm in Edmonton, the Black Friday storm, which was interesting because apparently that tornado, when it went across the North Saskatchewan River, people said that it sucked up all the water and they could see the bottom of the river, which would have been the river bed is the correct word, not the bottom of the river, which would have been interesting to see. You can go fish down there. I actually fished a dirty rag out of the North Saskatchewan one day. That was pretty cool. That's the best catch I've ever had there. Sometimes you see big sturgeon there. I think, much like Dave, I believe the sturgeon or the Ogopogo is probably a gigantic sturgeon. Let's do the roadmap. This is the roadmap that Carl, Stanton, and Allan, after borrowing Fabrice's UFO, they were going to go to Albuquerque and make a left, but they didn't. And they spilled coffee all over the controls, and they crashed. And then Fabrice had to pick them up at the bus stop. Yeah. Trust those guys.
Benno from Oz says, Fylth, you should do the political cartoons for the newspapers. Your communication is clear and funny.
I don't know about political stuff. My opinion on them is all of them are a bunch of wieners. And if I draw one cartoon about one side, then what? I don't know what's going on.
The gremlin is attacking Stanton and got his claw out and didn't know what to do.
Well, he's not very smart, so. Anyways, I've thought about that, and I did a couple political cartoons back in the day, and I don't know. Maybe I could just change. You know what? I was thinking about I couldn't even change my name to something else because everyone would look at the cartoons and be like, oh, I know who drew that. This isn't Jim Stevens at all.
How about court illustrations?
Yes, I would love to do court illustrations. That would be great. How do you get that job, I wonder? Do you just go to the court and be like, hi, I draw cartoons and I'd like to be a court illustrator. If anybody's a lawyer of some sort, get in touch with me and then somehow get me a job doing that. That'd be cool. Plus, you get to hear all the inside details. I'd probably have to sign an NDA and I could go places and be like, oh, have you heard about that new trial of the aliens and all that stuff. And I can't say anything about it because I've got an NDA. And they'll be like, nobody cares. Nobody cares, Dotson. Courtroom drawings would be cool. I've always thought that was interesting stuff too when I was younger. Ooh, a little bit of bleed in there with the. I was gonna make the map itself of Albuquerque sandy color, but I'm going with this because it just matches properly. Yeah, courtroom drawings would be pretty cool. I'll have to adopt that as another alias to go with Paul Allan. I used to use that when I'd call for a taxi all the time. They'd call and be like, taxi for Paul Allan? I'd be like, yes. And nobody ever got the reference. And then years later, American Psycho got really popular, and then I just stopped using it because it's like everything I like. I like stuff before it gets cool, and it gets all popular, and then it gets expensive. Like coconut water. I used to drink that all the time. Yeah. Anyways. Then it became like $7 for a bottle of the stuff. I said, screw that. Right, Mr. Gremlin? Are you having difficulties?
His eye stand.
He's absolutely. I have this. Excuse me. Holy, I'm dying. I have this mummy stuffy downstairs that I bought at Halloween from the dollar store, and the gremlin's absolutely terrified of it. All right, next. Holy. Currently watching the gremlin fight a gray alien. You can tackle him if you want. He's and then the box is gonna fall on him too. Yeah, he's out of control. You gotta be careful. You gotta be nice with him because he's orange. Beano from Oz. I think I'm gonna somehow do that. Let me get my little writing bit here that I have stuff on. Fylthy Shades of Gray. Oh, that was from last time. Courtroom artist. That'd be kind of cool because then I get paid to just draw cartoons. And then everybody be like, this doesn't even look like the guy. I'll be like, I don't want to reveal their identity too much. Holy, a frog in my throat. All right, up next is Allan's dossier because Allan always has a secret dossier. What's in the dossier? We don't know. Only Allan knows. We can't tell you about it. Anyways, even if we knew, we might know. But actually, I know what's in it. I've seen the documents. Fox seen the documents too. She actually created them, so she's seen them first. And Allan currently lives in Edmonton, Alberta. Yes. Good God. 1 second. Okay, everything's good. I am not dying. Gremlin driving an orange orb. You know what? Gremlin is one of the space frogs. He's a private. He hasn't actually gotten all his stuff together and got all his credentials and everything. There's only 4 space frogs left, or 3 space frogs. And then Whiskey's the oldest of them all, and she's a grump. And she's got a battle scar over her eye. I have to draw some more space frog cartoons. They're actually pretty cool. I like drawing them because, well, we have the Gargoyle versus Dogman. We'll get to that guy next, I think. I would put my money, if I was a betting guy, on the Gargoyle because he's the type of cat that would carry around pocket sand like Dale Gribble. Which is always good. You should always carry around pocket sand. Pocket sand and napkins, because napkins are very practical. Because you never know if you got to blow your nose or, plug a stab wound or something like that. Just pack some dirt in there and put that over top. Actually, when I was younger, I used to save all my Kool-Aid points because this was the thing back in the day. I'd save all my Kool-Aid points and I sent away for the Kool-Aid Man fanny pack, which I still have. I still have my marbles, by the way, all of them. And I used to carry around batteries in there because, when you're a kid and you got your cheesy Walkman with the orange headphones on the side, it's very important to have your extra batteries for your Walkman while you're listening to Burl Ives Christmas music and stuff like that. T-Rex. I think I wore my T-Rex album out, the the slider. I had that tape. It was my mom's tape, and I borrowed it from her. And it was really cool. I think I still have it. It doesn't work anymore, though. And I also had a tape with this story called Bony Legs, which I believe was just basically a Baba Yaga of some sort. Baba Yaga is also a type of drone. Also, in the Curse of Strahd RPG adventure, there's a Baba-less saga that you can encounter. And it's the character that Curse of Strahd artwork was all done by Richard Whitaker. It's kind of neato. He follows me on X. He's a really great artist, and he's Canadian, so bonus points. But one of my top favorite fantasy artists. He did all the artwork in there. Really made the mood of the campaign excellent. That was a tragic campaign at the end, super dark. All the characters died that we know of so far. Possibly the halfling survived. I wouldn't doubt it because halflings. But the paladin got turned into a frog, blown off the top of the castle. The cleric wished himself away from the battle, which only made things worse for him. Yeah, Hillbilly Herb. We've all tried that. Everybody stopped drinking Kool-Aid after they hung out with oh boy, what's his name? Who's the Kool-Aid guy?
Oh.
Everybody drank
Jonestown.
Pardon?
Jonestown, I think.
Yeah, in Jonestown, and everybody drank
Jones or something?
Jim Jones. Yeah, everybody stopped talking about Kool-Aid after that. That's just terrible. Those guys. It's not like they could sue the guy or anything. Actually, speaking of weird things, the Heaven's Gate cult still has a website going. Somebody still actively runs that website. Oop! I said I was going to do Gargoyle and Dogman. So yes, here's Allan's dossier. I have to wait till the green dries because if I put the red there, it's going to bleed in, and then I'm going to silently curse to myself. Kool-Aid. Actually, we used to also take Kool-Aid and put it in our hair and dye our hair different colors. I used to have hair. I used to have like dreadlocks and braids, and I used to do big suicide spikes. And in high school, we weren't allowed to wear hoodies, so I cut holes in the top of my hoodie, and I took my hair. It must have been about easily like 1.5 feet long, and I took some Knox gelatin and I stuck my hair through the holes in the hoodie and gelatin it up. And on top of that, we weren't allowed to wear fishnet shirts, so I wore a fishnet shirt so they couldn't tell me to take my hoodie off, because then I'd be walking around basically topless. And yeah, it was good times. I was one of the I went to a school. It was on the north end of Edmonton. It was all like athletic jock Lebanese kids, and I was like one of the 3 white people in the whole school. And they used to call me chicken because I did my hair like that. And then once we played the one gym class and they realized I was actually good at sports, they were really nice to me afterwards. But that was actually funny. That's where I met a lot of good friends there. And pretty much all of them are dead now. That's why drugs are bad, kids. Don't do drugs. All right, here we got the Gargoyle versus Dogman. And this is basically remnants of Mortal Kombat 3. Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3, which is the best Mortal Kombat. Because it had a lot of cheats. It had all the good characters from back in the day. And I don't know if anybody ever played it, but there was at the bottom of the screen, they had all these little boxes you could change everything around. And it would do different effects during the game. It was neat because back in the day, there was no internet, so everyone just kind of figured they had their own stuff. Just like people wondered if the guy was saying toasty or whoopsie. And everybody argued about it, and nobody ever got it figured out until years later. And then everyone's like, no, we're not going to go with that. Just like Sephiroth in Final Fantasy VII. There's 4 different ways to say it. Or Chocobo, or Kookaboo, or Chocobo. I've heard a million of those. But that was the cool part about not having the internet. You'd go to the chapter's place and sit there and write down all the codes and for video games out of the book and never have to pay for it because I was poor and I couldn't afford $5. Now I'm older and still poor, but I can afford the $5 for the most part because people buy my artwork. Thanks to anybody that buys my artwork. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, K-Van. Oh, wait a minute. Hi.
Yeah, hi.
Oh, let's see here. Let's do the Dogman first. He's got a bone and a tennis ball in his We'll do it the tennis ball first. That's Dave's secret move against the Dogman, by the way, if anybody's ever wondering. He says he carries around tennis balls just in case. You know what? What's the worst that can happen? You use the tennis ball and the Dogman laughs at you and then shreds you up, and then I'd have to just draw cartoons 7 days, 8 days a week because Dave got eaten by a Dogman. Great. Please don't do that, Dave. All right, let's get the right size brush there. It's very important to have the right size brush. Right, you little wiener boy? The gremlin's a good boy, but he's not very smart. You coming up? There you go. You got Cruddle. He's just filthy dirty. How are you that dirty and you're not even outside? Yeah, he's just going to sit there now. Right, mister? Yeah, there you are. Okay, yeah, there. You know what? One of the cats, I don't know who it is. I'm pretty sure it's this guy. Yeah, thanks. Thanks, mister. But the last couple days, I found little random poops all over the place. And I think it's this guy because I've seen him get scared before and he quite literally poops himself. The gremlin came up the stairs the one day, was sitting there doing minding his own business. Gargoyle came charging after him. He turned around. He did kind of a 180 flip type thing and landed awkwardly. And then when he took off and ran away, a poop fell out of him. But I mean, he's orange, so we gotta let it slide a little bit. Yeah, he's a weirdo. He's a giant mommy's boy. The Gargoyle is my little shadow. Except for right now, I have no idea where he is. And I'm hooked. You're hooked, Dumbo. Is he? Oh, hello, mister. There he is. Yeah. Thanks, buddy. Yeah, the cats. Gotta have them. Just like dogs. At my work, we got a warehouse dog, Pico. I think I've already mentioned her a million times. She's great. And I'm pretty sure what time are we looking at here? Yeah, about 3, about that time. She's probably having a steak because Ray buys her a steak every weekend. I think the dog straight up eats better than Ray does her. So it's kind of funny. Hello, Lisa Smith. Gremlin, Jennifer says hi. You don't speak English, so you don't understand what I'm saying, but it's important anyways. All right. And then the spacesuit is a combination of 2 colors. It's a blue and a little bit of a green for a kind of a teal color. I've been trying to find a nice teal color because the reason why I like to get pre-made colors is because I'm not really good at mixing colors because I mix them and then they're really nice and then I can't ever seem to get the same one twice, which I guess if I lived in medieval times, I'd probably have to get a lot better at that. Apparently they used to pay people quite handsomely to make purple because purple is notoriously difficult to make for a color. Oops. Alrighty, here. A little bit of green in there. Get that teal. That's the Captain Corrupt green, which is the name of my character that I have copyrighted. He's kind of an anti-hero-y. He steals neighborhood animals and waits for people to put the sign up that I have a missing dog or a cat. And then he's like, hey, I found your dog. Give me the reward. And then people show up. They're like, why are all these other animals here? He's like, I just collect animals. All right. Anyways, I haven't drawn that guy for a while. Mostly because I started drawing a lot of aliens and junk. What's let me do for the background here? Is steel color. But those guys are already gray. Yeah, we'll just go with can't go wrong purple. Yeah, good old Mortal Kombat Ultimate. My friend Peppy had that. That was his mom called him Aniko and his dad called him Peppy. It's kind of funny because his dad used to go out into we lived in the Edmonton housing, which was like poor kid housing places for low income people, and his dad would go outside and water the grass in his underwear, and all the kids would ride by on their bikes and laugh at him. And we were like, hey, Peppy, your dad's watering the grass in his underwear. He's like, yeah, it's embarrassing. It was actually really cool because I'd go over there all the time, and his mom would always, she was Filipino, and she always made these like little weird Filipino dish things, and she always had like different meats on a stick, and yeah, it was really neat. And she always made fish. It was always really, honestly, disgusting smelling, but it actually tasted really good. What are you whining about? Yeah, he's struggling. Anyways, he used to bring that over all the time. And then one time he brought it over and then I asked if I could borrow it for a while. And so he let me borrow it and then called me. He's like, hey, Klaus, I need my game back. So I said, yeah, sure, you can come grab it. And then I stuck a different game inside the package and gave it to him. And then like he just lived like, I lived in number 12 and he lived in number 4. And so I was sitting there, instead of going and playing the game, I sat there at my door watching to see how long it would take him to like figure it out and then come back over and get the game. But it turns out he went and had supper and then he did some other stuff. And so I basically wasted the time that I did on my big joke to not play the game because, you know, kids. Elizabeth Statehausen. Yes, Gremlin is the cat. Oh, thanks, pal.
Yeah.
She's got it under control. Second set of eyeballs. All right. There's the gargoyle being weird. When he was a kitten, he used to hide underneath. There's a little lip in my kitchen where the countertop is, or the bottom of the counter, and he used to fit under there, and he still thinks he can fit under there, which is kind of comical to look at. You can totally see it. You can't hide whatsoever. All right. Gargoyle gets the TR3B and the classic UFO. We just have to do the outline here, which is very important. And the space frogs don't actually speak, so they don't have speech balloons. There's very few characters that I make that don't speak. I have my trusty cheat sheet here so you can know which character is speaking. I have to update this thing. This is from 2023. And it's all sun bleached and you can hardly read most of it anymore. Or the colors are mostly gone. But I was like showing off some of the junk that's in the studio. Now we move on to the round 1 with the slime green, my favorite color green. The slime green is also some of the fancy Danielle Smith watercolors that I got. Linda Thompson. Linda, if you're listening, thank you again. I really appreciate it. You're the best in the world. She got me this little tray and a whole bunch of the Danielle Smith paints. And after I tried them, I just can't go back to like dollar store paints or other brands or anything. Like that's my brand. They should sponsor me and send me paint, and then I can do a video and be like, well, this is vastly superior to other paints because if you put a little bit of paint on, a little bit of water, it's a little different and you can wash it down. I did a thing last. You go back and watch the last episode of Crypted Cartoons with Dirty Fylth. I did a little show test of how it washes and everything with water. Probably means nothing to most people. Like when my dad talks about cars, we'll be driving somewhere and he'll be like, oh my God, look at that. I'm like, gas brake honk. He's like, that's a 1975 super fast Rosso with a 62.5 Hemi mega engine. I'm like, is that good? Well, you better believe that's good. Okay, I trust you. Hello, Mr. Gargoyle. You got crud in your head too. Hi, mister. Hello, mister. Hello, my handsome boy. Hello, my handsome boy. You got crud in your eyeball. Fluff on your head. What a pig. Sorry, every time he comes over, I have to pet him because he's my handsome boy. Thanks. He's handsome, but he's a pain. Come on. Come on. Executive decision. Yeah. Sheds all over the place. You just touch him, and it's just like 1,000. Yeah, well, there you go. Thanks. It's your problem now. You weren't trying to use this computer, were you? All right, now we're doing Callaway, the Zombunny, which I have the artist that does the Zombunnies here in the studio. It's K-Van in the chat room. If you ever want any Zombunnies, go to Sideshow Zombunnies on Instagram. You should type that in there. When you get a chance, when you're not being pestered. Look at this guy. Actually, you could just go to link the cage itself.
Once I've got a
Yeah.
cat not on me.
Yeah, they're never helping. They try. They think they are, but anyways, I commissioned a Mothman originally from her. It was really cool. He's sitting on my shelf with the Callaway, which is also on the shelf. I'm not getting up to get him. I've shown him off before, and I'll show it off again. I showed that off on Brian Bowden's show too, and he was all, everybody likes plushies. Speaking of the plushies and everything, Final Fantasy Tactics is re-releasing the game, and they have a super deluxe box version thing, and it came with 3 little itty bitty tiny plushies, no bigger than, a rubber ducky. And most of the comments were, I'm going to buy that just for the plushies. So my brain juices started flowing, and then I had to tell my pal that maybe we are onto something here. So we might have to make some more plushies. And I'm pretty sure if you contact Fox Vegas at the Sideshow Zombunnies, you'll be able to, maybe if she's got time, put some together. I'm not sure. I think she's fairly busy right now. All right. Anyway, I got Callaway, which I didn't realize it was the Dead Man. And Undertaker's he's probably one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. So it was kind of a double whammy. I just liked the way he looked. And then when I got it and I seen the Dead Man symbol in the back, I was like, wow, this is just an extra double whammy bonus and a half. Thanks, by the way, pal. Mm-hmm. Hi, mister. Yeah, I was telling everyone that basically between you and my buddy, the space captain, he always seems to gravitate towards both of you. Nobody else like that. It's just, I don't know. And he just kind of follows me around. And whenever I try to go to sleep, he's got to sit there and he pushes his face into my face. I love you to death, mister, but sometimes you're a pain in the rump roast. Like he is right now.
Oh, he's fine. He's probably going to do a face plant, though.
Yeah, he's a good boy. All right. So anyways, I decided put Callaway in there because Undertaker, man. My least favorite was when he was the biker guy, because he just came out of nowhere. It's like all of a sudden he's a biker. And then he went back to being the Dead Man, which was really cool. And didn't he have some pantheon of or a whole bunch of dead flavored guys or something. Anyways,
he had the Ministry of Darkness.
Yes, the Ministry of Darkness
with the acolytes
and JBL. Oh yeah, JBL is the best. There's a thing on YouTube. You can go watch every single clothesline from hell that he did. And sometimes if I ever want to chuckle, I just go watch it. Can't believe nobody actually died from that. That's just skill. Apparently he's an actual businessman. He owns some big time business of some sort. Hold on. I have to look at this guy. Check out these shorts. Look at that. Oh, let's get a little bit of cat fuzz on there now. Yes, lobster print shorts. Love it. It's part of the summertime alien collection. Mr. Gargoyle, Jennifer says hi. He doesn't even care. Okay. Yes, finishing Callaway. But yes, JBL and his clotheslines from hell were just hilarious to watch. Good stuff. Hello, Polly Rotherman and Alexander Leslie. Due to you, Fylth. I'll have you guys know it wasn't my birthday, but I had a shower today. So I'm not as dirty as I normally am. Go to the warehouse for about 10 minutes and you're just covered in dust from all different parts of the universe. Yeah. You have to make sure if you work in a warehouse, you get a tea mug that has a top on it. Otherwise, you'll be drinking all types of dust and credlies. I get some stuff, and I swear at the end of the production line before they ship stuff out, they got some guy, and his entire job is to shovel dirt on top of everything. Because it just shows up and there's dirt and footprints all over it. It's like, what do you guys do? Not the ones that you bring. And we have this handsome fellow with his 1950s full body piece. Oh yeah. Goes with the drawing. Actually, hold on a sec. Let me dig it up. Oops. Oh no. I'm running over your stuff. The studio is not very big, folks, so actually I can't find the picture because I've scanned it and it's in the pile. And it would take me forever to find out where it is in the pile. Yes, Alexander Leslie. Hello, Scott B. What does B stand for? Burger. Scott Burger. Yes, we've Alexander recreated a whole bunch. It's not a prison suit. He's probably the least likely of them all to go to prison. If anything, it'd be Carl. Carl's the type of alien that would back his UFO into your truck and drive away without saying anything. Well, he'd back Fabrice's UFO into your truck and drive away without saying anything. But like I said, we're doing a whole bunch of plushies for the art walk this summer. And perhaps if there's any left, they may be for sale. And if they sell good enough, we might make some more. Maybe a legion of California night crawlers of some sort, possibly. I don't know. It's all up to Fox, whatever she wants to do, because she's the one that does all the hard stuff.
The aliens there's been a lot of positive response, and I'm sure they wouldn't mind having more drones out in the world. Maybe a little bit smaller though.
Luckily, I can ship things pretty much anywhere in the world for relatively cheap because I've got a broker. Get a broker. Yeah, I feel like a rich guy saying I have a broker. And by that, I mean I just go to work and ship from my work and then go, hey, here, Denny, here's $20 shipping. All right, I got to do the inside of his. I'm going to make them pink. Is that okay? What's the is there colors?
Black. He's just black because there's
the
Undertaker bunny.
Never mind. We'll just make him a little bit darker on the inside. Ugh. Rag is getting all soaked with water because I just slop it on there like a pig. Oh yes, the only purple is the dead man's logo. I actually showed it to my buddy Ray at work because Undertaker's his favorite guy. Hi. Hello, Amanda's Crazy Life channel. Good to see you. Thanks for coming on to Brian Bowden's show as well. I think you were there. That was nice. I had a good time with him. Everybody got to see my nicely shaped skull, so that was nice. Now I can switch back over and do up Dogman because I forgot about that apparently. Just ramble away and goldfish brain me. Apparently there's a button on here that you can put music on, but I don't want to push it because everything's been going good so far. And, you know, third time's a charm type thing. I don't want to ruin my show so far because the first time I was blathering away for 10 minutes or so without actually pushing the button to go live. And then the second time the cats were out of control and I had a little bit of feedback, but this time it's going just perfectly. I invited Curtis for wings. I think I said that. Yes, oh, yes, I did. Okay. Let's see here. We're just going to go with, what are the Dogman's colors? Did I do a Dogman before? I did. Do orange in the middle. Dogman and Sasquatch actually work together at DAS Auto, which is Dogman and Sasquatch Auto, not the auto. No affiliation to a car company from Deutschland. And Dogman, he does all the greasy, dirty work and gets his hands dirty and everything. And Bigfoot's the guy that sells you things. And he's not a used car salesman, so to speak, but he is pretty persuasive. I mean, who could say no to a guy that would pull your arms off if you had the chance? All right, here we're gonna do the top here for the UFO. And the inside of the cheat code thing. You know, Amanda, if the gremlin was here, I'd drag him up so you can look at him. He's probably downstairs doing something bad.
Out in the hall, sitting there.
Ooh, yeah, you gotta have an orange cat every once in a while, at least once in your life, so you can experience. How can I say this nicely? You can experience the wonders of an animal that has the entire population of all the orange cats basically share one brain cell, and sometimes they get to possess the entire brain cell to themselves for a very short period of time. Sometimes when he sits downstairs by the front door, I have a slidey closet where you put all your stuff, coats and body bags and things like that. And he'll sit there and he'll fight his own tail. And then when he spins around and sees himself, he scares himself and then runs away and usually goes crashing into things. Yeah. I left a bag on the floor one day. This is before, well, it was afterwards, but I had a couple plastic bags because we're not allowed to have those in Edmonton anymore for whatever reason, but everything else is wrapped in plastic. Right on. Brilliant. But you can attest to the stupidity of that. But he got stuck in the bag and he was running around panicking. And we had to basically chase him down, and look at that cat fuzz on there. I had to chase him down, and he pooped himself a little bit because he's a little crapper. That's all right. All right, here we have Crypted Cuisines. Look at this thing. All the water just, there we go. Crypted Cuisines, we have a Danish, a Slurpee, dill pickle chips, cat snacks, and Jeef Berkey sticks, because you have to have Jeef Berkey on a road trip. Yep. An old westerly wind there. I'll just get smartish. Ah. It's just going to fall off from the top now, so. Good old Danish. What kind of Danish is it going to be?
If it's for Greece, it's just a plain Danish, remember?
Oh, yeah. Plain Danish. There used to be a place called Robin's Donuts in Alberta. It's in Saskatchewan now, but they used to make the best donut in the world, which was a strawberry Bismarck. It was a chocolate donut filled with strawberry jam jelly on the inside, and the top had a white sugary coating and then a little chocolate drizzle. Those were so good. And we used to skateboard all the time by the Robin's Donuts by my place on one's.
Mike Angerhauser wants to know cardstock or vellum paper.
This is cardstock currently. It's illustration board, rather. I apologize. I rescind my previous comment. Smooth, hard plate surface for fine pen, ink, pencil, and many other uses. Number 27. Quality art materials crafted in Canada since 1906. And a bunch of French gobbledygook on the back as well. I do sometimes pick up the vellum paper for my art cards because they come in a little pack of 10. But I found that since when I do a whole bunch of them all at once, it's easier to buy a big sheet of this because it comes in the sheet's probably about as big as this white page here because they get 2 of them. Oh, look, there's the other ones I was working on. Some quick sketch drawings. But yeah, then I just equal them out and then cut them up. And they will go for sale. Some of them sometimes if I buy the little bit bigger of a sheet, there's always about a inch bit on the end, and I cut those up into smaller things. I usually make those into things like swords or axes or something because that's the medieval stuff in me coming out. I always like medieval history. That's good stuff. All right. So we got the dill pickle chips, very important. Danish, also important. Maybe that was Curtis coming over. And then we have to have the cat snacks as well. In case if they meet up with a space brog. Actually, the one time the goblin encountered a space brog, figured he was an alien, and they are an alien, and he was correct on that. And then he went to the space bar, and he tried to show Bigfoot. He's like, hey, this is my friend. He's an alien, and the Bigfoot's like, that's just an orange cat in a spacesuit. But he was wrong. One of the few times Bigfoot is wrong. Ooh, excuse me. Cat snacks. I made it pink because I actually bought bought a pack of cat snacks the other day that have their, I think it's like a turkey dinner thing. And I have no idea why it's pink, but it is. You'd think it would be like a salmon flavor, but it's not. So and then some more of that nice slime green. I love that slime green. Yeah, hillbilly herb. Dill pickles are good, but garlic pickles are the best. And I usually drink all the pickle juice before I eat the pickles. There is one jar of pickled stuff in my fridge that I will not drink the juice of.
Probably for good reason.
Yeah. Fox made some pickled Komodo dragon peppers, and then probably just felt sorry for me and gave me the whole jar.
No, I couldn't find somebody insane enough to take the jar.
You seem to have enough brain damage. Here you go. So, anyways, I chopped one of them up. Well, actually, the first time I tried one, I went, I'll just eat one of these little tiny guys, see how it works. I ate it, and I said, ooh, this is kind of sweet, actually. And then the burn started kicking in. Then my nose was runny. And then I was swearing. And then everybody laughed at me. But
I realized that the label on it says it's over 1 million Scoville.
Yeah, reading is one of my strong suites that I apparently didn't use that time. Anyway, so I took one of them the other day and I made again, because it's really good, I made a grilled cheese sandwich and I diced it up really good. And I put all the juice in there as well, too. Yeah. If you ever want to smell colors, eat some of those. Alrighty. Beef Berkey sticks. Gotta have that. You know what? You gotta get that Danish, a little more Danishy color. All right. Have a little bit left to do on this. What time it is anyways? Let's check the old clock. Holy, an hour. Well, I can sure blather on, can't I? Oh yeah, chicken wings soon. Very important. It's terrible. The place has half-price chicken wings on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and also any sports days. I think they do it for the Eskimos too during the summer. I don't really watch football, throw ball, North American football. Gherkins are tasty. I said it before, but there's a little Russian store by my house, and they have these Polish pickles, and they get all this chopped up goodness and actual dill and everything in the bottom. Those are the best. I might have to go there. Maybe I'll do that today. Possibly. All the nerds are coming over for dice rolling later. It's going to be great. Except Watson, because he's a wuss. If you're listening, Watson, have fun staining your deck. I hope it rains on you. I can make fun of Watson all I want because I've known him since elementary school. Funny story, one time I spent an entire recess giving Watson a wedgie. I don't even think I wonder if that's even a thing anymore. Do you think people give wedgies anymore? That's why I stopped wearing underwear, because everybody picked on me and they just give me wedgies all the time. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to bypass the whole situation. So they just started beating me instead. And then I drew cruel cartoons about them. Alrighty. Got to color in the dill pickle afterwards, but I got to put a little bit of background color in here first. Very important. Let's see here. Let's go with the blue again. That should work out good. They stopped at the local convenience store before they crashed the borrowed UFO. Damn it. Cat fuzz and everything all over the place. I hope everybody's enjoying themselves. I appreciate everybody coming and hanging out and listening. I'll be here every Saturday, except for July 12th, because I'll be at the Art Walk. Hopefully, I sell out all of my stuff, and then I just have to sit there and draw cartoons, and everyone will be wondering, hey, how come this guy doesn't have anything here? Like, well, we sold everything because people liked it. I got my tent coming today, and I also have some chairs that my mom's going to borrow me some chairs, because moms are the best. Because last year my chair broke on me and I had to stand for a while. And then my one friend came by and he felt bad and he went and bought me a chair. Because, yeah. Oh, look at that. Almost done. Nobody noticed that at all. Alrighty. And I'll probably be on the show with Dave most of the week. I have some writing I have to do, and I'm not the best writer, and it takes me a long time to do all the writing bits, so which is why I also went and acquired myself a writer. Thanks, pal. Okay, this is almost all done. I'm not going to do the boring... Oh, no. What's this going on here? No. Stupid computers. Yes, get them before they're gone. There may also be a couple other plushies available. I think they're prototypes, right?
Well, you've adopted that one. I do still have the initial proof of concept Sasquatch for adoption.
There is a Sasquatch for adoption. There may be a chance it would come with... They get the jersey, maybe.
If they want it, he'll come with the jersey if they want him to come with the jersey.
Yes, there's... just get in touch with Fox Vegas. Go to her Sideshow Zombunnies on Instagram and message her through there.
Or email me. I put it in the chat earlier.
Yes, or email her. Put it in there again just for good measure. And yeah. If you also want to get some fancy Spaced Out Radio gear, go to spacedoutradio.com. Buy a Science Blob shirt in memory of Blob, because she's just sitting, hanging out in the... she's hanging out in the supervisor's lounge. It'll be a while before we go visit her. And then you could also buy a Grantavius shirt with the Power Stash on it. And you could also go to Fylthy.com, Fylthy.com, and bug me if you want an original copy. You don't have to worry about anybody else getting one, because I generally don't do any prints of them. But yes, original copy, or sometimes I'll do a commission if you'd like. But here's the finished product. So what I do is I'm going to cut them, and then I take my old Stampy boy, stamp the back, because I got smart instead of having to write everything a million times. And yeah. I hope everybody had a good time. I'll be back next Saturday. I'll probably be on the show with Dave during the week. And don't forget, later tonight, Mr. Rob G. Mr. to you. And also tomorrow. Also, I do believe it's the 20th of July or June. I can't remember. It's on a Sunday. Anyways, Rob's going to have Karen Dahlman. She's absolutely awesome. She loves cats, and she's a good friend of mine. She writes a good book, too. It's called When Cats Had Wings. She'll be on the show with him, and the stipulation was that I have to be there, so I will be there as well. So that'll be like 6 days of me drawing cartoons on the show, which would be neato. Okay, Jennifer, Alexander, Wilcam51, Hillbilly Herb, Lisa Smith, all the other people that I can't see because I scroll up here, everybody. I appreciate you guys coming on. You have a wonderful rest of your day, and I shall see everyone on Monday. I'm going to go for hot wings and burn my face off now. Have a good night, everyone.